I'm extremely surprised and very, very honoured. I've been working in practice for a long time now. I've been involved in new build housing, council housing for a long time. And it's just fantastic to see council housing being recognised like this for this award. So I'm absolutely delighted and very honoured, very surprised. We desperately need more money going into local authorities to build far more housing than we've got already. I think we're looking at something like 1.5 million people that are currently on the social housing waiting lists. We need something like 90,000 new homes, social homes, being built each year. And last year we managed to build 6,000. So we are falling far short of the targets that we need to make. So the government really needs to get its finger out and make sure there's enough money going to local authorities up and down the country to make sure there's much more new council house building being built. Working in local authority is very rewarding. You're working with a whole range of professionals, the planners, in-house engineers. You've got a consistency of understanding about what you're producing. You've got a lot of feedback, constant feedback. So you're taking schemes from beginning to end, and then you're taking it upon further along. People are telling you what's not going so well. So there's a lot of feedback, there's a lot of learning, there's a lot of appreciation of how the schemes are being used, and working very closely with our client department as well. So there's a lot of feedback there. So it's extremely rewarding working in local authority. We try to work with developers very closely. Our role really is to help developers make sure that schemes are built on time without too much problems for local residents have to put up with a build. So a lot of our effort is making sure the residents aren't completely put out by our new build, because it's extremely sort of disruptive to have a building site next to you. So it's the council's reputation. They care very much, Islington certainly, about how its local residents are treated throughout the build process. So we try and work very closely with developers, and it's in their interest obviously to work very closely with councils like Islington, because there's a lot of work coming up through the pipeline that they want to be involved with. I started at Sheffield Council back in 1988, and it was a very desperate time. There were a lot of people living on the edge. People were living in poverty. There was no new council house building being built, and the right to buy was really taking hold. So council housing was being taken out of the market with no new council housing being built to replace it. So it was a very tough time, and there was no money to refurbish the existing stock. So it was a very hard time, and you really saw how housing impacts upon people's lives. And I think it made me realise how important it was that good quality, well designed, well thought out housing, how that impacted upon people's lives. So it's very instructive for me when I was working at Sheffield Council to see that. My role in delivering Centurion Close, because we're a local authority practice, we want our architects, including me, to take schemes from inception through to completion and on beyond that through defects, and also even beyond that, and to make sure things are working properly. So I was involved with the inception, with the feasibility design, and I took it all the way through the planning process, through the working drawing process, right the way through planning, and took it on site. So I ran it on site. So I was involved from sort of top to tail, really, and still am now, to be honest with you, because we've got a couple of issues with our boiler at the moment. So I'm still involved with Centurion Close. We're trying to iron out a few problems at the moment. So we really are involved from beginning to end. I think these W awards are really important. I've been following them for a long time now. I think they're putting women, they're putting women in the centre, in the spotlight. Often women are sort of sidelined. They're not necessarily given the acknowledgement that they're due. So I think it's extremely important, these awards, to make sure that women are given the proper recognition that they deserve for the work that they're doing. The advice I'd give to someone entering the profession today would be to listen to people, really listen, because people around you have got so much experience. You'll be learning throughout your whole life, but particularly in your 20s, your 30s and your 40s. It's really hard being an architect, and the best advice I'd give would just be to listen to what the advice people are giving you, whether they're architects, whether they're builders, engineers. Make sure you take all that on board, and you won't go wrong.